I'm not sure what to say about Mykhailo Fedorov, except that he is Mykhailo Fedorov, a graduate of Zaporizhia National University, a successful entrepreneur, a good friend and ally of Europe's good friend and ally, Volodymyr Zelensky. At 32, he's also the architect of Europe's most astonishing digital success, DIA, the state and the cell phone, which has done so much to sustain Ukraine through such terrible times and to point the way ahead for so many of us. Vice Prime Minister Fedorov has come here today to give us a taste not just of what DIA has already achieved, but of how he thinks and of what he and the Ukrainian colleagues plan to do with their breakthrough ideas tomorrow. I had the pleasure of meeting you recently in Kiev, sir, and when I say pleasure, it truly was. There inside a heavily fortified building on Hershevsky Street, past a pile of sandbags and some armed personnel carriers and heavily armed soldiers, sits an incredibly creative team and a very successful minister. He is friendly to a fault, always taking time for guests, even as his office runs over with people, projects, ideas, and initiatives. And I'm talking, of course, about the Ministry of Digital Transformation. Mr. Fedorov was recently promoted to Vice Prime Minister for Innovations and Development of Education, Science, and Technology while retaining the digital transformation portfolios. And congratulations on that, sir. It's a sign and an indication of the quality and importance of the work you've already done. He's also, from what I can tell, a very thoughtful man and a dedicated public service. So we're honored you can be here with us today. Tell us how digital technology and digital government have changed Ukraine, how you have changed Ukraine, how you've helped to shape this particular revolution, and how Ukraine is changing the world today and will change the world tomorrow. The floor is yours. Slava Ukraini.
Сьогодні ми робимо перший крок, але це великий крок. Презентуємо мобільний додаток «Дія».
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Paul, for inviting me to speak today at the summit. That's a big trust to Ukraine's digital expertise, and I will present here our achievements over the past 3 years, how we transformed Ukraine into a real digital state. Before 2019, Ukraine didn't exist on the digital map of the world, and we definitely couldn't call Ukraine a digital country. Ukraine in no means was associated with convenient state services. Any contact with the state was linked to bureaucracy, wasting time and frustration. So basically all the problems which are familiar to all the countries. For example, lines, if we talk about offline services, or many different platforms with confusing user designs, if we talk about online ones. The person disease from the Soviet times was day-to-day corruption. If you needed to apply for the construction permit, you had to bribe the official. The same was true if you wanted to change the registration, get sick leave, or get the documents on your car. There were initial issues with the creation of the infrastructure of the digital country, starting with the electronic signatures to complicated architecture or basic registers. The low level of trust in state services is a common reaction from citizens in many countries. In 2019, Zelensky became the president, and in 4 months we created the Ministry of Digital Transformation. In this photo, there is no ministry yet. We are looking for a way to build a digital state, and Zelensky is already taking an active part in the working groups. He believes that we will succeed. In general, the digital transformation is an important part of the presidential program now. It was significant because Ukraine didn't have the ministry which would be responsible to form a policy of digital transformation. We have created a mission for our team that motivates and resonates with our emotional level. Ukraine must become the most convenient country in the world in terms of public services. We decomposed our mission into 4 goals: to transform 100% of government services into online, to provide 95% of the population with quality access to fixed and mobile internet, to teach 6 million Ukrainians basic digital skills, and to increase IT GDP up to 10%. It was 5% before the war. It was crucial for future achievements to find deputies who are capable of accomplishing these goals. We have taken another significant step to create a unique org board. We have implemented the position of CDTO in every ministry and at every level of state institutions. We formed the Digital Committee in the Parliament. This is how we laid the foundation for the future implementation of e-services. And this is what it looks like in real life. Hundreds of young people who believed in the idea and came to serve their country to build the most convenient state in the world. It was autumn 2019. In February 2020, we launched our flagship DIA.
We are digitizing the state to make it work for you. 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 And you. For those ready for a fresh start, and those unafraid of starting over, we are creating a transparent state to make life easier, so that bakers can spend time filling pastry, not filling out papers. Askers can get any answer online, and neighbors can wake up at dawn, not to get in line, but simply to enjoy the sunrise. We are initiating changes to allow family businesses to grow and big startups to get bigger, to empower people to believe in their dreams and stand up for their rights, to make lines shorter and life fuller, to make it convenient, whatever happens. DIA, Ukrainian Public Services Online, putting your needs first.
DIA is one-stop shop for all electronic services. As of now, 19 million Ukrainians use DIA. 70% of all smartphones have DIA installed. During this time, we have launched 100 e-services and documents. We were inspired by the business cases more than government apps, and we oriented on new customer behavior of our citizens. Our first revolutionary service was Passport. We became the first in the world to do it. Now you can travel around the country, get public and private services with it. 13 million Ukrainians have Passport in DIA. We launched the feature to share electronic documents, and this opened up new possibilities. For example, on average, 80,000 bank accounts open daily online with it. Let's watch the video.
In 2019, we initiated a new age, digital age. We created the world's first digital passport, a passport that's always on your smartphone, a passport that's impossible to forget, a passport that doesn't require a copy and notary sign on it. Confirming your identity takes just 2 clicks. Sharing a certified document, same thing, instantly. It just takes 2 clicks. Passport in DIA simplifies dozens of day-by-day situations.
Our second revolutionary service, DIA Signature, fundamental service for digital country. You can generate it in your smartphone unlike other countries. Your face biometric are compared with the biometric of the demographic register in real time. It makes DIA a people-to-people product when every citizen in Ukraine can verify the documents using smartphone camera. This technology lets us make services more popular and accessible. Here how it works.
DIA Signature is a secure electronic signature, valid across Ukraine and Europe.
Imagine being able to sign a contract with a new employee anywhere in a blink of an eye.
Creating it is easier than finding a pen to sign paper documents.
Selling the franchise of your bakery without a notary.
It's a DIA fantasy.
Log in the DIA app. Select DIA Signature from the menu. Smile or blink your eyes, and the signature is always in your pocket. Zero bureaucracy. Only convenience.
Just the realities of Ukrainians.
During COVID, DIA allowed the launch of an automated service to support business. I'm talking about e-Підтримка, E8 in English. DIA automatically verified the vaccinated people and transferred 1,000 hryvnias into their virtual bank account. That's why we managed to avoid the major pain of some other governments, fraud. People could spend this money only on those fields or services which we wanted to support. This made it possible to save the industry of cinemas, bookshops, sports, and entertainment. Fraud cases equal zero. It's worth mentioning critical e-services which we launched before the invasion. E-baby, business registration, e-construction, the change of place registration, tax payments, pension services. And DIA app is only one component of DIA ecosystem. Let me tell about other elements. DIA web portal, DIA education, DIA business, and DIA city. DIA education. Within our educational goal, we have launched DIA education program. We shot mini-series with popular UA stars, and we have been teaching the young and the old various digital skills. 1.5 million Ukrainians have accomplished different educational series. We would like to become the Netflix of education. DIA business. We believe Ukraine is the country of entrepreneurs. We have founded the DIA business platform and DIA business center across the country. As of now, 13 centers function in Ukraine. Thousands of UA entrepreneurs have got free consultations on taxes, HR, board, etc. And we have even opened a DIA business in Warsaw, which has become the first international center for entrepreneurship abroad. Ukrainians who left the country during the war can use the services there. DIA City. Not only do we like to launch offline and online services, but we also started a new virtual tax regime for IT companies. We decreased taxes fivefold and implemented the basic principle of venture investments. We launched this project 2 weeks before the invasion. And now we have 50,000 specialists and more than 500 companies who joined the favorable regime. As of now, DIA is about hundreds of services, and we have launched a special implementation department which records and analyzes all the metrics of the product, communications with our partners, and supervises the product life cycle. It means we understand the real situation and the real state of affairs of our e-services, what people think about them, what is successful and what is not, and most importantly, what we need to do for their improvement. All of it was before the big war. February 24, Russia started the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and it kicked off the new era of digital country. Let's look together at the role of DIA and digitalization during the war.
When the world is falling apart, our main task is to protect the people. After the invasion, DIA acted reactively. We quickly introduced a new set of services vital in extreme situations. Evacuation Document combines all personal info in one digital doc and accelerates identification at checkpoints. E-Aid, financial support to sole proprietors to keep the economy going. War bonds, aimed at rebuilding the liberated and soon-to-be deoccupied Ukrainian cities. State mortgage, military, medics, teachers, and scientists can apply for the state mortgage right in the app. E-Enemy, a chatbot that helps any citizen safely transfer info about the location of Russian troops, names of collaborators, and enemy movements to the armed forces. Numerous attacks of Russian army destroyed a number of TV towers. To provide Ukrainians with uninterrupted access to information, we launched DIA Radio and DIA TV, so that even under blackouts, millions could feel present. And added the in-app Army of Drones game to help Ukrainians both distract and donate to the common purpose. Has the enemy launched cyber attacks on Ukraine? Of course they have, and they failed. Even when the world is falling apart, our main task is to protect the people. Together, we can build a stronger one.
Of course, the key challenges for us became cybersecurity and physical preservation of our basic data registers. New services as emergency aid, communications, and at the same time to continue sustainable development. Watch this video. In the first week of war, a Russian missile hit the basic register data backup center. Luckily, we had managed to make the most significant decision for the digital country, the law on clouds. It allowed us to move the backup of basic registers into the cloud. Tax service, customs, the entire economy operates on the basis of registers and information systems. This decision saved all of our databases from Russian missiles, essentially allowing the economy to continue to function. In the first hours after the invasion, people began to evacuate. Many left their homes even without documents. Our first week decision was to launch a special document for every Ukrainian, which they can have on them during evacuation. Ukrainians crossed the border with the European Union with documents in DIA. This decision prevented unnecessary panic. The next big challenge was to launch the payment for people who needed evacuation. We knew that regions endured the hostilities, so DIA automatically recognized people living there, and just in a few clicks, they could receive the money into their virtual bank accounts. This became vital for many of them. Since the first days of invasion, DIA has become people's tools of reconnaissance. It's absolutely unique to use such an app for gathering data on the movement of the enemy troops and hardware. Ukrainians on the occupied territories have been able to send photos and videos via DIA, which then go to the situational awareness system and are being analyzed by the commanders of armed forces. This is a video from my hometown in Zaporizhia region, which is occupied. This is a video sent by Ukrainians who await the occupation and help our armed forces. They do it with the help of DIA. On the other hand, you can give a financial support to Ukraine. We managed to launch war bonds in DIA. Every Ukrainian can buy the bonds to invest into our future victory. We named them after our occupied cities. For example, you can buy a Mariupol bond and help deoccupy it. Mortgage. We continue to transform the financial sphere and have made deep re-engineering of mortgages. And of course, we launched the service first of all for our military, teachers, scientists, and medical workers. The revolutionary thing is to sign the mutual application between the husband, who is on the front line, and his wife, who is at home. This is Andriy, the officer, 43 years old, who has been serving in the armed forces for 26 years. He has been fighting against the Russian invaders since 2014. He was born and grew up in Donetsk, which is currently occupied. so he lost his home. In this photo, you can see him on the day he received a loan in May. He used it to get a two-room apartment in Kyiv, where his wife and daughter of 12 years will wait for him while he defends Ukraine. Ukrainians are a very creative nation. We even launched a special game where every Ukrainian can test their skills as a drone pilot. You log into Dia, choose a drone, and shoot at the tank, just like that. In the early days of the invasion, we provided access to TV and radio via Dia, because Russians cut off the occupied territories. Turned out it was quite a good decision. Over 10,000 citizens listened to the radio on daily basis. 1 million citizens watched Eurovision Song Contest, and over 1.2 million FIFA World Finals. Recently, we have also added Cine International, so Ukrainians can stay tuned with foreign news. I also use it to improve my English. Special project for me. Let's circle back to cybersecurity. There is a first world cybersecurity war now. However, for all this, we have been building a resilient cybersecurity infrastructure. Despite thousands of Russian cyber attacks, we launch new services every month. There are some important points I must mention. Dia doesn't save data. Dia is a platform that connects registers. Before the war, we had lots of bug bounty to identify the weaknesses. We created a team of hackers who attacked our infrastructure to test it. As I said earlier, we adopted the cloud law, and we have close connection with our private sector. We've talked about the convenience of a digital state and its importance in times of crisis, such as a full-scale war. But digitalization also allows us to build a transparent state and fight corruption.
For decades, Ukrainians had to deal with corruption that permeated state institutions. Dia set out to fix that. In 2 first years, Dia saved 16.3 billion of state budget and 20.5 thousand man-hours of time. In social and business spheres, we synchronized different systems and automated their work, thus making corrupt practices impossible. Introduce the Unified Information System for the social sphere, which is expected to save more than 30 billion of Ukrainian hryvnias. We digitized e-sick leave to lower doctors' workload and prevent forging this kind of documents. Construction used to be one of the most corrupt areas. We reformed it by building new construction register, which allows to keep track of all the actions and makes every move transparent. Can we do more? We are already doing.
So far, one of the most successful anti-corruption reform construction sphere. Do you know what is on the screen right now? This is an IT algorithm, a script programmed by the corruptionist, which automatically calculates the amount of the bribe. Depending on the district, the number of square meters under construction. We stopped it. The amount of bribes of this sphere was 3 billion hryvnias. The reconstruction register belonged to a third part abroad, and Ukrainians were forced to pay money to be enrolled into their register. We have built a completely new construction register, launched automatic services, and we couldn't see the login of all the action in the system. And now you can start your building process only by filling in an application on the portal. As of today, there are 1.9 million electronic documents in the system, 60,000 users, 1.3 million visitors on the portal, and 172,000 services were delivered. Let's look closer at the construction case. I would like to highlight the key principles for launching economic and anti-corruption services. Every information system must be open source. Every action system must have login record. Every service must be automatic. And what is next? First of all, rebuilding. One of the most important projects is the transparency of the reconstruction service. Together with the Ministry of Recovery, we have created the register of the damaged property, which has become the basis of accounting, control, and publicity of the entire reconstruction. 10,000 Ukrainians have already received the compensation for their damaged property and started to rebuild it. This service has been completely automated and money is totally targeted so that people can spend it only on reconstruction process. At the end of my presentation, I would like to say a few words about the future of Ukraine. We will definitely win, and the innovations and technology must become the foundation for our recovery. We are focusing on building the future we are fighting for, future that people of Ukraine deserve. I want to share with you our big vision of it, and the thing is that Ukraine is the best test ground for product and most disruptive ideas. I welcome you all to join projects you will watch next, so we can create the successful mutual future together.
Громадяни України, сьогодні вранці президент Путін оголосив проведення спеціальної військової операції на Донбасі. Росія здійснила удари по нашій військовій інфраструктурі.
Let's look 8 years ahead. 2030. The history of the new Ukraine is studied all over the globe. Why? Because Ukraine became the most digital and convenient country in the world. Scripts have replaced bureaucrats. 500,000 former public servants are successfully integrated in the new economy. No more red tape, but paperless. No more banknotes, but cashless. Yes, we became the first country to abandon paper money. Ukraine now has the most affordable e-residency. Thanks to Ukrainian engineers and programmers, the R&D centers of the world's top technology companies operate successfully, and Ukraine ranks first in the world by the number of startups per capita. Ukrainian courts are guided by artificial intelligence, and all notarial acts take place online. Ukrainian customs is fully automatic and the fastest in the world. Customs clearance and car registration can now be done in 3 clicks from your smartphone. Because of war and internal migration, we have built the most flexible and modern digital education. Brave military and civilians get quality treatment with modern remote monitoring and e-health systems. Ukraine also has the most effective cyber defense in the world. After the horrors of 2022, Ukraine focused on security systems. Now every production facility has its air defense system, and the sleep of Ukrainians is protected by an ultra-modern Iron Dome. The Ukrainian government is digital, more like an IT company in terms of the efficiency of implementing decisions, and one can register a land plot, start construction, open a business or get a license, and register a car or real estate from a smartphone, automatically, in 1 click. Ukraine is the freest and digital. This is all because international partners and the world's leading technology companies supported the Digital for Freedom initiative and united to help Ukraine recover through digitalization. Building a new Ukraine together, free and the fastest, brave and digital.
That's all. Thank you.